Hello everyone, thank you for joining us today for our Monash Science alumni panel. My name is Claire O'Grady and I am the alumni manager here at Monash Science, and thank you very much for joining us. So I'd like to begin today by acknowledging the people of the Kulin Nation on whose land we are presenting from today. I wish to pay my respects to the elders and traditional owners of the land. The Faculty of Science have more than 37,000 Monash alumni, and we're very proud of our students and our alumni community. We're joined today by 3 of our alum who will share their experiences and what's happened for them in their career journey since completing their undergraduate science degree. So I would like to introduce them to you. So we have Steph Poynton, who is a senior consultant at Deloitte. McCart, who is a quality control chemist at Ego Pharmaceuticals. Michelle Fu, who is a management trainee at L'Oreal. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking the time to join us, and we hope that you can share your wisdom and just tell us what's happened for you and all about your journey.
Excellent. I'm happy to start about the journey. I started at Monash in science and commerce, and in science I really didn't know what I wanted to do, so I did really general stuff. So I went down both biology and chemistry subjects, and in the end I found like a real love and passion for pharmacology and physiology, which was great. And at the same time as doing my science degree, I was doing the double degree in commerce as well. So that was a great journey, and it landed me in a pharmaceutical role, an accounting role, and now at Deloitte, where I've been for 2 years helping government with kind of health policy and health projects.
Excellent, thank you for sharing. Alex, would you like to tell us what you studied at Monash?
Yeah, sure. So I started with a science and arts degree before moving over to a science and journalism degree after I didn't really like the arts. I always loved chemistry. That was always the passion from from high school all the way up to the end of my degree. Studying both at the same time was good for me because I got an understanding of what I really liked and what I didn't really like. And by the end, I was really passionate about the chemistry and not so much about the journalism. So I decided to do an honours year in chemistry, which is like an extra year added on to my already undergrad degree. Then after that, I have gotten to a quality chemist role at Ego Pharmaceuticals, which basically I'm a lab chemist and I test materials for our products.
Excellent, thank you. Michelle, can you share what you also studied at Monash?
Yeah, so I had a Bachelor of Science and Global Studies. So Global Studies is also kind of like an arts degree, but with a more kind of international focus. So I had a extended major in chemistry and a specialization in international relations. And I graduated at the end of 2018. Throughout my university career, I kind of did a lot of internships in the chemistry field, a lot of technical R&D industry, but following my graduation, I actually had an internship at GSK, which is a pharmaceutical in continuous improvement. And that kind of took me out the lab for the first time and gave me the opportunity to be now in a graduate position at L'Oreal inside the commercial business. So I've just finished my 6-month rotation in kind of business development when I was working on long-term strategy for our consumer product division, so like your Garnier's, a lot of your mass products in groceries. And then I'm now moving on to my second rotation in the Luxe division in the commercial side. So yeah, so it's kind of like, it's been a pretty long quite jumps in my career.
Excellent. So Michelle, why did you choose to work in that field? Because it's a slightly different move from a traditional science role.
Yeah, definitely. I think throughout uni, chemistry has actually been my passion. I really like the hands-on work of the industry. And when I was doing all my internships, I really enjoyed that. However, it was like a lot of the internships tend to be short-term, like 3 months best. And, and it was very kind of interesting at that time to be working, with the labs but for me, I guess I felt a little bit siloed in the labs, and I wanted to have that kind of more kind of people interaction. I wanted to have more influence in the business strategy of the companies. So I decided to branch out into the commercial sphere. But definitely I still want to be part of an industry that manufactures, that produces products. So for me, like GSK, L'Oreal, that fits the portfolio, and I still want to have some kind of a connection to science as well. But for me, I think that commercial sphere, working with big groups of people, having an influence on like the total market as well, that really appeals to that kind of long-term strategy mindset that that I really enjoy.
Excellent, thank you. And Steph, you're also working for a company that has a huge outreach. What attracted you to Deloitte?
I think similar to Michelle, I was after something that had influence or had purpose or had impact. So when I was looking at companies, I saw that Deloitte, huge consultancy, huge reach, very broad. The idea of being in a team where I get to do different projects in different areas and get some experience of everything. And I'm kind of quite streamlined to health, education and government, but I still get such a diverse picture of strategy, of operations, of project management. It's the diversity and the influence, I think, that really drew me to the big company.
No, that's excellent. And Alex, you work with one of our fantastic Aussie companies as well. And what actually enticed you to go with Ego?
Well, I did an internship at Intraceuticals, a small cosmetics company that worked on like hand creams and those sort of science. And I really enjoyed that. I found a really good passion with that. So I wanted to find a similar sort of company. I also really like their products as well. Like I find they make really quality stuff. I really want to work at a place that does make interesting things. It does, really good work. I heard a lot about their company culture and their progression through their company. So there's really a lot of like set plans of like what you do and how you develop as not only just a chemist, but as a person in the company. So I wanted somewhere where it was just like, not just stuck in the lab forever. Actually, we'll learn more things and be a bit more developed throughout Ego and through the company. So, yeah.
Excellent. No, that's a very good reason to choose a company. Someone that invests in the people as well is truly vital. So, I have a bit of a question for you all, which is, in your career paths, I know that you have all graduated reasonably recently, but did it take an unexpected turn when you first started day one in university? And you had an idea of what you wanted to be? Have you had any unexpected but amazing turns in your career so far?
Yeah, I've had multiple. Like, if you asked me when I first started, I was going to be a science communicator, and then I was going to be a journalist, and then just like a PhD student, and now I'm a quality control chemist. Like, I went back and forth multiple times because I just wasn't really sure, and it took me doing internships and actually doing the degree and getting through the end of my degree to work out what I want to do. And even in the job hunt as well, that took me a while to look at what's actually out there, what is going and what's going on. So yeah, it's a lot of unexpected turns. I thought I'd be, on the news or something, or doing something fancy like that. But no, I'm happy in the lab right now. So it's twists and turns all the way through. So
excellent.
I would completely reiterate that sentiment, Alex. I've had multiple kind of career changes already. Starting in science, I really wanted to do science and kind of got to the end and freaked out about jobs and didn't know what I was going to do, and went to be an accountant, which was definitely an unexpected turn, and not one for the better. I was a shocking accountant, and so pretty quick realised I wanted to go back to that science route and followed kind of this healthcare government type role where I am now in Deloitte.
Yeah, I totally agree with Steph as well. And Alex, I feel like when I was at uni, I wasn't too sure what my end goal would be. And I, even though I took a lot of internships, it was definitely very similar to what I was studying at uni in terms of chemistry. But when I was inside of those companies, I took opportunities to reach out to the HR there just to discuss like, you know, career progression. I talked to my co-workers about how their careers has changed. And I think the biggest change for me was that when I was interviewing for GSK, I had actually, like, I'd prepared for an interview to be working in their quality control labs, but following the interview, they kind of envisioned me inside this continuous improvement position. And like, it was basically, it was almost out of my control. But they saw that I had the potential to be in more of like a people connector role, striving for, you know, for continuous improvement and making changes within the company. And that role really, really helped me to kind of jump out of the labs and be in a position and be kind of like a baseline foundation job for me to be in my L'Oreal position now. Because without that job, it would be really, really difficult for me to probably convince L'Oreal that I could work in a position that was outside of, you know, technical labs. So that was a big twist in my career journey.
Oh, that's great. It's great that they saw something in you as well and gave you that opportunity and gave you a new idea. Thank you all for sharing. It's fantastic. So when you're first looking at your university options, there's of course many fantastic options. Can I ask why you each chose to study at Monash?
Yep, I was quite set on Monash because of the double degree. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So the idea of having multiple options, do commerce and science at the same time, was so appealing. And it gave me that option to have little tasters and then come out with 2 degrees at the end. It seemed to make sense.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah, much the same as Steph, like having those 2 degrees, being able to like focus on 2 things, because I definitely had 2 interests at the time when I first started was really important. Also, the fact that Monash's science just seemed a bit more like we have the space and bigger labs and a bit more in-depth sort of science. So I felt that was better for chemistry as well. That's why I chose Monash.
Yeah, I agree. Double degree all the way. And also the facilities, like the year that I joined, we just opened up the Green Chemicals Future building, which is the building behind
The
Claire,
background, yeah.
in the background.
Yes, it's a beautiful building.
So the facilities looked amazing. I knew that Monash Science had longer lab hours compared to like other universities, so it was very hands-on. And like I will admit, the campus is pretty close to my home. But I feel like when I was there, for open day, the environment was really nice. Everybody was just kind of like out and about. I felt like that sense of community. So yeah, it was almost like a no-brainer for me.
Great, thank you. And look, I definitely agree with that. It's definitely a very big community feel here, and even when we can't be on campus, you can see that I miss it. And we all, yeah, we're definitely someone who really, we're an organization that cares about our students and our community and our alumni community. So it's good to feel that that's reciprocated. Thank you. So when you were studying at Monash, there's a lot of other opportunities that you can take that's beyond just your studies. Did anyone undertake any study abroad programs or any opportunities to go overseas?
Yeah, I did. So my double degree with global studies means that study abroad was part of my course. So I did a 6-month exchange to National University of Singapore. So there I did 2 units of science and I did 2 units of international relations, which was really fantastic. And I also worked 2 months following that at the A-Star, which is kind of like Singapore's government research facility, like their CSIRO. So I also did a lot of internship there. And then I was also kind of sponsored to go with part of Westpac's Asian exchange scholar kind of program. So it was a fantastic kind of learning experience. I'm actually at chickenpox while I was over there. So I had to kind of like struggle my way through like a health crisis and then like the cultural differences. But like the fact that I like survived all of that just kind of like it really enforces like my independence and like my ability to kind of like live independently in another country. And I also did a winter semester subject, which is a Washington study tour in my final year. And that was very interesting to be kind of like studying international relations outside of a Trump administration, and then able to go to the US while he was president. That was really, really fantastic and really eye-opening, and to see kind of like that environment in real life. That was awesome.
That would have been a fantastic experience, definitely. And I'm glad that you came home safe and well from your trip. That's good to hear. Steph, I think you also undertook an experience overseas as well.
Yeah, slightly different to the study abroad. I did the Global Discovery Scholars Program, and it was this excellent opportunity where a group of us went over to New York to talk to alumni and to talk about with people who have made connections at Monash and have taken those connections all over the world and starting up great things. So we went to the New York Stock Exchange, and we did go to L'Oreal over there. We went to the United Nations. We went to all these different companies, organizations, not-for-profits, government areas, and just chatted to alumni to hear about what they're doing now, how they got there, what they studied. And I think that's kind of really special about Monash, that you have these connections all over the world and that people are happy to give back to you and want to give back and talk to you about their experiences. And even better for me, it was in New York, and I have connections now in New York where I email them every now and then and say, hi, what's going on? You know, there's so many internship opportunities over there with these connections. It was a really fantastic experience.
No, that's great. And our global leaders are a fantastic network, and they're so generous with their time and with their experience and their wealth of knowledge all over the world. And New York is a wonderful place to visit. So yeah, that's a fantastic experience. Were anyone a member of any clubs or societies or some of the more social aspects of campus?
I was going to say, I also did study abroad as well.
Oh, excellent. Sorry, yes, Alex. Sorry, apologies.
Right. So I went to the Leipzig program with the School of Chemistry. So that basically every 6 months we send students to Leipzig, Germany, and they get students come over here. So basically we did a 6-week project with the University of Leipzig. So the idea was they gave us like a research topic, and we had 6 weeks to get results and then come back to Australia and write a full report. It was a really fun program because we like adjust to the German culture, and like most of our labs didn't speak English, so we had to like adjust and adapt to like get results and get information through there. But it was really great because also we're in Germany, so on the weekends we got to travel all around Europe as well. So yeah.
Oh, that would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
And how did you go with the language barrier as well? It would have been a huge learning curve.
It was a huge learning curve. I did a little bit of German in high school, but not enough. Definitely. It was just, you have to sort of point for things, speak really slowly, and just sort of like understand, like you can write things down, it can help as well. It was just sort of being like patient with everyone, basically, is the best way to understand it and get through that. But it was all good in the end, and an amazing experience. I'm still friends with everyone on that program still. So it was really brought people closer together, people in chemistry, and really like gave me that independent experience overseas. So.
Oh, excellent. What a great way to make networks overseas as well. All of these experiences it's such a good way to build networks while you're still in university. It's amazing. So in terms of clubs and societies, did anyone partake in any clubs and societies, or were you all far too busy being wonderful students?
I wasn't really part of any clubs or societies, but I did join 2 kind of leadership groups within the science department. So there was a Science Future Leaders program and a Science Ambassador program. So I really built a really great group of friends and kind of network through that programs. Yeah, and then you kind of represent Monash Science at like open days events. Like I would have been one of those people in the stands, like handing out flyers.
I also did that, yeah.
Yeah. And then the Science Future Leaders program was kind of like this little cohort, and we made like a project to help improve science student experience at Monash. So so that was kind of like a year program, and it felt like I was in a club.
Yeah, wow. I did the more traditional clubs and societies route, which was potentially more social and less learning, but still an incredible way to make networks. I was very involved with the MSA, which is the Monash Students Association, and that's kind of the umbrella body that sits over all the clubs and societies. And MSA runs host scheme and a whole lot of things for first years to help first years make friends and this kind of thing, which is a great way to do that. I was also involved in the science club and the engineering club. Don't know why I chose engineering, but they run great camps, and that's a great way to get involved. But back to the kind of roof body, the MSA, Monash Student Association, I got involved in that because it's quite a good entry into politics. So it's about student leaders and student unionism and coming together. I'm sure if you go to Monash, you'll find elections every year, and so it's a great way to get involved, and don't let anyone tell you it's not fun.
No, that is excellent, and the MSA are very, very active and very, very welcoming, very opening, and always looking for new students to participate and to be involved. So no, that's definitely a really, really good one. Alex, were you involved in any of the clubs or societies?
I went to a lot of events. I don't say I was ever a member of any society, but I think the main one I did was I was a science student ambassador. I think that's the main thing that I was part of, which is an important one, where basically I helped Monash Science basically attract more students to the program. So on open days, I was there like handing out flyers, doing sheltered as well, and also helping running the Facebook page of the Monash Science. So we had to like post things and like make posts to engage people, make people interested in Monash Science as well. We spoke to some primary schools and some schools as well, talking about science and people there. Also as part of CHAMPS, which was the Chemistry Honours Society. So that was sort of organising just especially social events for PhD students and honours students, because we're so stressed out, we're so busy all the time, trying to like find days and activities, like board game nights and trivia nights, just to try and like relieve the stress mainly. So yeah.
Yeah, the fun things are also important. They're also part of your student experience.
Exactly right.
Absolutely. And that actually leads me into something, whereas the networks that you build and that you grow while you're at university. Alex, it sounds like you built quite a few networks.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just put yourself out there really is the main way of doing it. Like everyone's at these events, they're just there to meet people and talk to people. So no one's going to be like weirded out or freaked out if you go up and just say hello and chat and whatever. I'm quite social, so it's easy enough for me, obviously, but it's just very easy to just, everyone's a student, you all have something to talk about, you're all Monash students, there's very something in common to start with, you can break the ice quite easily and just chat about anything. It's, yeah, like there's always so many events going on, especially during O week, you can find something on most nights to go to. And I think the camps as well, like most of my friends went on the camps to look for friends, most camps for like this day as well, they're very good social experience. Yeah.
Those kind of activities in terms of social and connections, there's a lot of things still happening virtually in the current environment as well. People are connecting, which is still really, really good. Steph, did you find that you made a lot of networks and contacts? It sounds like you made a lot of our alumni network as well, which is very important.
Yes. On the student connections, I found them excellent because we'd often collaborate and help each other with our work, and it was a great way to learn. With the alumni connections, that was just this whole world of opportunity for careers after Monash, and talking to people not only to figure out what you like and what you want and what they do, but also to call up an old alumni and say, hi, may I please have an internship, or may I please have a job, is an excellent connection to have. And I think because Monash kind of fosters that idea of make relationships, make connections and networks, it's really helped me going forward to be really confident in meeting people along the way in my career, and having that phone call and saying, hi, I'd love to come work for you. What can you offer, or what can you do? I think connections and networks are absolutely invaluable. And the ones that you make at Monash, even if it's a student, don't discount them. That help with your work will be excellent.
Excellent. And Michelle, did you have any similar experiences?
Yes, definitely. I totally agree with Steph. Making, you know, expanding your network is probably the most important kind of lesson I've learned, like that I've taken from university and into my working career right now. L'Oreal's all about like making connections with people, and yeah, like being part of like these kind of programs, about like being part of Open Day, being part of the alumni, and then reaching out to people that you, even if it's just like you met at one time, you know, connect with them on LinkedIn. They'll comment, like I just updated my job post and I see all my old friends, my old work colleagues from previous industries always commenting. They always want to know what you're up to, and then see how they can help and how you can help them as well. It's a very kind of corresponding relationship, and yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, I reach out to my Westpac network. I reach out to, like, I still sometimes text my old bosses in my previous internships just to see how they're going, see how the industry is changing with COVID as well. And then we exchange tips and tricks about, you know, like how our work is handling this current situation. So it's a very reciprocal relationship. And I feel like that's the best way to maintain your network. Just to chat about, you know, anything really.
Absolutely, and definitely during these online times, I know it's a really good way to keep in contact with people. And you know, you might meet someone, you know, in university, and you don't know when you'll meet them again later in life, and it's very, very helpful to keep those networks and communities, and you know, sometimes they become your friends, so it's just important. You also touched on internships, Michelle, and I know that you've touched on some of your opportunities already. Alex, Steph, have either of you undertaken any internships that you found particularly helpful?
Yeah, so I did one. It was part of what was called the Science Industry Placement Program, which is now turned into just a unit as part of the School of Chemistry, where you basically do an industry placement in a company. So I did a summer internship, so it was from about November to February, so from my summer break, where I spent 2 to 3 days a week at Intraceuticals, which is a cosmetics lab. That was really important for me because obviously now I'm working in cosmetics and hand cream, so obviously that imprinted on me from the start from there. But it was important to give me like that hands-on experience. Like walking into that lab that first day, I was like, oh, I actually have to do things myself, and there's no like safety net here. I actually have to like work out what the hell I'm doing. It was very much like a confronting thing, and helped me like get that immediate like understanding of the workplace. And I think it's helping me with my transition to the workplace now with my current role, because I know what a workplace is like and what a great workplace is like.
I'd definitely agree with that transition mentality. I did 2 internships, one in science and one in commerce, and it was a great way of figuring out what I wanted to do and then how to transition into the workforce. My science internship actually was excellent. It was only a month. It was 4 weeks full-time intensive, and at the end of the internship they kind of said to me, Steph, would you like to stay on 1 or 2 days a week just to help us with some of our operations? And this was an excellent way of getting a part-time job in uni that paid a little bit better than Macca's. So I was really happy to let this extend on into a part-time work opportunity.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and those employability skills are just so important. And being able to dip your toe in and have experience, and to have a kind of a mentoring relationship with the organization that you're placed with is really, really vital. So I think that's fantastic. And Michelle, it sounds like you did quite a few internships and opportunities.
Yeah, I think I always took one every single summer break between university. So my first one was at New Farm, which was a pesticide company, and I did a lot of R&D there. My second one was in Singapore, so that was government research. My third one was at Hawkins Watts, which was a food ingredients company. I was working on an emulsifier project over there. And then my fourth one was at PPG, which is a paint company, and I was working in the technical department as well. And like that kind of breadth and diversity really showed that like science really allows you to join like any industry of your choice. There's so many opportunities in Australia. And also the differences between industry and pure research, because the government one was very research heavy. And I knew I definitely liked that industry dynamic, that fast pace, that kind of innovation that was part of it, and then kind of aligning your research with market demand that was very appealing to me. So I think through that internship, it kind of realized, like, was a good realization for me that I want to be part of the industry. And yeah, definitely like the diversity of the different, just really showed me how valuable chemistry and science is. It allows you to touch points with so many different companies.
No, absolutely. And I think the thing that I've noticed is all of you, of course, were attracted to studying in STEM and studying various different things. And in the case of this panel, it was double degrees, but often people are singular degrees, of course, as well. And what elements of your studies at Monash University do you think that you've actually taken and that you use in your current role and in your current career?
Well, I use almost all of it because I'm doing a lab job, obviously. So all of the lab classes that I've undertaken apply to my job right now. Like there's even equipment at my job that's exactly the same as the equipment at my work. So I look up like, I've done this before. I know what this is. I understand these concepts. And then even doing experiments, something goes wrong because I've done done a degree in science. I can understand, okay, why it goes wrong, and you can use my theory to understand and try and improve like our methods and our experiments. So obviously the majority of my degree is applying to my current workforce. So
excellent.
On a bit more of a general note, I reckon university taught me how to be curious and what to look for and why to look for things. I guess STEM made me quite data driven, and I wanted to be able to evidence all the things I could do because that seemed to give impact. So curious, data and evidence, and I guess finally working with others and how to do a group project and how to work in a team, people who are better than you, people who might not be pulling their weight. It's really valuable.
I'll to that in science, you're doing labs every week with a lab partner. You're constantly doing group projects almost every day, and it's like you do learn that really, really importantly. So
yeah, for me, it's probably problem solving. I think science really helps, especially with that data part to kind of analyze like the different facts in front of you and kind of getting that insight out of it and connect the dots, which is very crucial to my current job right now. For me, my arts degree helped me with like negotiation in terms of like understanding why people do certain things, which is sometimes helps you understanding some of the office politics that might be inside your job. And then also knowing, you know, how to reach out and communicate properly with people. I feel, you know, because at university you meet so many different people, and then you might talk to them differently, how you talk to your mentors, to your lecturers. I feel like adapting your communication styles very early on really helped me in my career.
Excellent. No, and I definitely agree in that the critical thinking and that piece of learning, you will take that with you throughout your career, throughout your life, and throughout nearly all of your interactions. It's so valuable. So thank you for sharing. And I guess I just have one final question, which would be, what advice would you give to students that are considering, you know, studying at university and potentially choosing Monash and looking at their career choices?
I have a great throwaway line that I think has a lot of value. Make smart friends. In uni, you can make so many friends, especially in science. There's lots of connection time with people. You can help each other. You can use those connections later in life. It builds a community. It makes everything a bit funner, more social. Make smart friends.
I guess my one is that you can tell with this panel here, you're not locked in to what you're doing when you start your degree. Just because day one you're doing that one degree does not mean you'll end on that degree. It doesn't mean you'll use that degree in your future study. It doesn't mean you'll be there for your entire life. Like if you're probably 18, 19, choosing your university, you're not stuck in there for life. You can change, you can chop them around. Like your whole journey in your career, it's just the start of it. So.
For me, it's probably be flexible and be open to all the opportunities. You know, when I was finishing up high school, I was pretty adamant. I was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to follow this routine, and I'm probably going to end up here. And And to be honest, like I actually didn't get into my first choice. I wanted to be in that Science Global Challenge unit. And then when I kind of didn't get accepted, I was kind of like, oh, my plan is just falling apart here. But it's really kind of up to you to really kind of take opportunities as they come. You know, that course was offering kind of science with business, with entrepreneurship, but a lot of these opportunities Monash also offers that's not part of the course. You can just, you know, kind of apply yourself. And I always took every single opportunity I can to apply for these external, whether it's internships, whether those leadership programs, everything like that. And you can really kind of develop your career and all your experiences by all these various kind of groups and activities. So I always recommend everyone to just try out for everything, see all the opportunities, say yes to, like, whether your lecturer is saying, oh, you know, do you want to volunteer at, I don't know, to present a little award, or whether to volunteer at open day, always say yes. You'll meet so many new people, you'll gain so many lessons from all those experiences, and those are really invaluable and ultimately makes more impact in your life and your career than the course that you study.
Absolutely. And I think, thank you all for that fantastic piece of advice. I think you're right. It is about a journey, and it is about putting your building blocks together and making the decisions that are right for the individual, and using all of those fantastic amenities and resources that are there to build up your toolkit and your bag to go forward on your career journey, and making smart friends. That is one that I think is a very good tip, and something that you can definitely take advantage of at university. Oh, thank you all so much for taking the time today. It's fantastic to hear from you, to hear about all of your different journeys, about your current career, and also just to see where you've taken your opportunities and where your degrees and your career journeys have taken you. It's been fantastic. Thank you all. So on behalf of everyone, I want to thank you, Michelle, thank you, Alex, and thank you, Steph. It's been a wonderful panel. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having us. Excellent.
Yeah, feel free to look me up on LinkedIn.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lovely to chat. Bye.
Bye.